Welcome. It's your girl Jay, the High Priestess, back at it again with the general tarot reading for this full moon in Sagittarius. Ooh. Hydrate. It's gonna be a hot one. Also, y'all already know Patreon gets everything first and has all of the Gemini season astrological videos. The Gemini season astrology video is also out on YouTube right now. For free shit, check out my Instagram at justj_everything, TikTok at justjeverything, and for other dope shit that I do, my website, justjeverything.com. Be sure to take a moment, take a breather with me, relax, y'all. I still have last night's makeup on. Oh my God. Your girl threw a banger again. And speaking of, it's Gemini season, sociality, social season, parties, like relating, reuniting, joining, coming together. And with this being the full moon in Sagittarius, don't get it twisted, Sagittarius like are the life of the party, usually along with, when it comes to like life of the party, I will say like Sagittarius, Leo, Gemini, Aries, Libra. Even the Libras are like life of the party without even wanting to be the life of the party. It's just everybody's just like staring at them or like trying to figure out what the fuck they're doing. Aquarians too have that. Anyway, this full moon in Sagittarius happens on June 3rd, 2023 at 9:42 p.m. Mountain Time, 11:42 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's happening at 13 degrees Sagittarius. 13. Ooh, that's the first time I've ever done that. It's like deducing the degrees. 13, 1 plus 3 is 4. So there's some sort of maybe new relationship to foundation or to structure. Something is stabilizing. And the sun is in Gemini and the moon is in Sagittarius, yeah, more like this, which equals a full moon. The full moon in Sagittarius. The opposite, anyway. Gemini, communication. They're the fucking talkers. Jesus, have you ever gotten accosted by a Gemini in a conversation? You already know what I'm talking about. And the thing with like, I bring up these random Gemini themes because Gemini is like, yes, they're communication, yes, they're talkers, but the big thing here is like stimulation. Gemini is a sign of I think. There is this like stimulation, there is this curiosity, but you know, don't let curiosity kill that cat, baby. Ha! 3:33 on the clock. It's important to use your stimulation, use your curiosity to co-create. It's like get curious about co-creating with your creator. Ooh, I like that. Anyway, then we have the opposition, the Sagittarian, that Gemini. Sagittarius is an axis. I don't like when people call them sister signs. Like Gemini, but that's just me. Do what you want to do. But sister signs would be like Taurus and Libra because they share Venus. Or Gemini and Virgo because they share Mercury. That's what a sister sign is. Not your shadow, which is on your fucking axis. That's not your... Anyway. Sorry for being so aggressive. Mars and Leo is like really making me an asshole. It's like not making me an asshole. It's just like I'm just realizing there are pockets of like, you're a fucking asshole, Jillian. Like, Like, and you can be really judgmental and egotistical, and that is like, and self-righteous, and I think that it's rooted in frustration, and I feel like that's what's we're getting to, like the philosophical root. Sagittarius is philosophy, but they're also optimism, but Sagittarius is higher learning, it's college, it's expansion. There is this like Sagittarians are equally as mental as they are physical. And so there is this cerebral quality that is meeting the physical with this release, you know, this full moon energy. Sagittarians, they need to explore, just like the Aquarians, they need, the Geminis need stimulation. So, you know, what's blocking the development of those themes for you, and what's been blocking your freedom? You are going to be required to think about it before you act. So, you know, I got to hit you with a handy dandy Inside Degrees by Elias Lonsdale, and this is at 13 degrees Sagittarius. So, I have not pre-read this or found it. 13 degrees Sagittarius. Where did I already pass that? Okay, Sagittarius 13. Oh, a long one. Me. Hydrate, light it if you got it. Chill, relax. Actually, before I even do this, let's go ahead and create a safe space. My benevolent ancestors, Mother God, Father God, Mother Earth, thanking you for the most useful, helpful, and divinely aligned messages for this full moon in Sagittarius happening on June 3rd, 2023. Now, Elias Lonsdale's description of the 13th degree of Sagittarius is an embalmer at work on a mummy. Death manifests among the living in myriad forms and guises. Death manifests among the living in myriad forms and guises. It is unforgettable in its imprint. Those who are drawn to get close to death and to get involved with it have their own set of challenges accordingly. Will they get wrapped up in the lesser levels of death and turn habitual trapped creatures? Will they get wrapped up in the lesser levels of death and turn into habitual trapped creatures? Or will they extend their range of their affinity and their allegiance to encompass the redemptive and regenerative aspects of death? Being magnetized to relive previous deaths, to learn the ways of death, and to fathom its mysteries, and being able to move among many sides of this equation, but ultimately drawn either to indulge the regressive loop, but ultimately drawn either to indulge the regressive loop of being in circles of recurrence, swept away, or to open up the space tremendously, to collaborate with the lively ones among the dead, and to discover that in their world, which is scooped out in that exquisite sensibility through which the lively dead see this world, they celebrate its freedom. They celebrate its free because they celebrate its free becoming more fully than anybody else would be able to approach in that sparkling way. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Why can't I read today, first off? And second is, you know how I feel. He does have run-on sentences sometimes. But what is all this about death and Sagittarius? This is interesting. I'm like reading it, but everything I'm just like confusion. I am confusion. I've never equated Sagittarian energy with death. So it's interesting that for, here that he's going so hard at it. And it's interesting because it's at the 13th degree, and 13 is the death card in Tarot. That last sentence, I've got to try to attempt again. Okay. But ultimately drawn to either indulge the regressive loop of being in circles of recurrence, swept away, or to open up the space tremendously, to collaborate with the lively ones among the dead, and to discover that in their world, which is scooped out in that exquisite sensibility through which the lively dead see this world, they celebrate its free becoming more fully than anybody else would be able to approach in that sparkling way. That doesn't make sense to me. They celebrate its free becoming more fully than anybody else. Okay, anyway. That's the first time I've ever felt like, what? Elias, you lost me at the 13th. So for some of us, there may just be fucking like things we don't understand, things outside of our comprehension. And for some of you, you get that. You can go. You're getting what I'm not understanding. This is available online, so you can go and just Google inside degrees and choose the 13th degree of Sagittarius and read it for yourself online. That felt weird. That's the first time I've ever, like, not in years. We've been pulling from that book for how many years now? And it feels like that's the first time that I've ever been like lost. I'm going to have to go back to that. So maybe there's stuff about like going back to expanding your comprehension, which makes sense. Sagittarius. Is there blockages in like your comprehension because of a lack of education or a lack of knowledge or a lack of experience in some sort of way? There may be just like a re-education, addressing the miseducation of something. Keep your mind open, allowing yourself to be malleable, allowing yourself to also own up when you don't know what the fuck you're talking about or you don't understand something. I also feel like I have no idea what I just read. Like I don't remember what I read. Death manifests among the living in myriad forms and guises. So maybe it's just like something, some transformation, some metamorphosis is eluding you. It's an illusion. You're not seeing that something is coming in and it's actually going to be a beginning or a rebirth or a start over or a do-over. And there's other things that you don't realize are the end or bringing on and the end of something. It is unforgettable in its imprint. And I feel like when it reveals itself, ain't no going back. You can't unsee what gets seen. It's unforgettable in its imprint, and it leaves a mark, which just made me think of Permanent by Jason Reeves and Colby Calais. And that line, you left a mark. I wear it proudly on my chest above my heart to remind me that I feel the best when I'm with you. Everything is effortless. You know it's true. That's Permanent by Jason Reeves. Those who are drawn to get close to death and to get involved with it have their own set of challenges accordingly. So those who are drawn to get close, like those are, those of us who are brave enough, those of us who are naive enough, those of us, depending, like some of you, like how we approach change, how we approach endings. Do we approach it intentionally, naively? Do we approach it disrespectfully? Do we approach things irreverently? There's something about reverence that's ringing here for me. where it's just like, do you understand what is reverent, what is sacred in your life? Do you make sure other people understand the reverent or sacred parts of you? Do you make people like show up, or do you require that of people when it comes to like your sacred space or sacred spaces within you, or sacred or reverent things that you share with people? And I like that I was like, I don't know what the fuck that is. And then I was like, meh, meh, meh. And then I went and I picked it up and I'm breaking it down. That's very Emperor energy. Aries, Emperor. I have the tattoo. Very Emperor energy, and something where it's very Emperor card energy to take a big problem, zoom out, and break it into parts. And break something up and just breaking it down line by line, sentence by sentence, word by word. For some of you, syllable by syllable, getting into the etymology of things. So those who are drawn to get close to death and to get involved with it have their own set of challenges accordingly. So it's like, however, it's like your fuck around to find out ratio. You know, however hard you choose to fuck around, there's the fuck around to find out side of it, and then there's also that aspect where it's like you play stupid games, you win stupid fucking prizes. Toe the line there. Figure out where you fall on that spectrum. Will they get wrapped up in lesser levels of death and turn into habitual trapped creatures? Playing stupid games? And let me know. You will be needing to anticipate. It will help you if you just anticipate stupid prizes. If you know you out here playing stupid games, or you're fucking around with people who you know are out here playing games, you're associated with people who you know who are out here playing fucking games because you are the company that you keep. Which is very Sagittarian, Gemini. They are the community, the neighborhood, like interaction, siblings, kin, like they are communicate. You got to communicate with other people. But also, I hope you're communicating with your thoughts, which helps you understand. And when you do that, it'll help you understand that you are not your thoughts. See how much is coming out of like when you put it down and come and go back to it? So there's something about putting something down, going back to it, owning up, I don't know what the fuck that was, or I don't understand, or I'm lost. So maybe you need to tutor yourself. Maybe some of you need help in school. Maybe some of us need like a tutor, or we need to own up to our like level of education when it comes to something. Will they get wrapped up in the lesser levels of death and turned into habitual creatures? Or will they extend to the range of their affinity, fuck around, and their allegiance to encompass the redemptive and the regenerative aspects of death? Find out. Being magnetized to realize. Anyway, all right. That was... I got what I needed out of that, okay. So, full moons are times of release. Goodness, 18 minutes in. That had a grip, but I feel like we needed that. Whoever, eat the meat, leave the bones. Full moons are a time for harvest and release. This is not when you're setting intentions. This is not when we're planting new seeds. And so I just want to dive in because I got some very specific questions, and so I can't believe I've spent all that much time on that quote because we got work to do. All right, so the first question that I wanted to ask is what needs to be released about how you communicate, or what needs to be what needs to be released when it comes to, or recognized or released when it comes to your current communication skills, or the way that you communicate, the way that you're expressing yourself. strength reversed. Some of you, you don't realize you're talking like your father did, or you're coming off like your dad did. Some of you don't realize that this, like, there's something about like speaking from a place of ego or speaking from a place of vanity. Are you speaking from your heart? Are you being vulnerable? Ooh, the Ten of Pentacles. So yeah, there is something here about like your father, your family energy, paternal side of the family. There could be something about like, the father side of the family comes from a really, you know, misogynistic kind of religion, and the mother side of the family is completely as agnostic or atheist, and you may show up kind of misogynistic even if you're a woman, even if you identify as a woman. You know, there is something like this. I feel like for a lot of us, our ego or lack of being heart-centered, or we're communicating from a weak place, saying sorry too damn much. What are you apologizing for? It's time to tap in with like getting more balanced in your communication. Some of you, your anger just completely, like you get hot and you just fly off the handle and you say shit that really has the potential to cause damage or causes damage, and you learn this from your family, or you learn this from your father. For some of you, it's like you hold back and you allow yourself to stay small, or you try not to rock the boat, and you try and you don't say what's in your heart, and you learn that from your father, or you learn that from how your father treated your mother, or how from your there's just, whoa, that came out hard. I'm telling you, Mars and Leo is not here to play. It's like, we're gonna get this work. We're going to get to the root of it. We're going to talk about it. What needs to be released about how you communicate is how controlled your communication is. There's something about, are you coming off as authentically as you could? You're not. I'm just letting you know. You're not coming off as authentically as you should. And that's like, some of us are coming off very arrogant, and some of us are like handing over our strength and handing over our power, and we need to learn more about ourselves and where we fall on that spectrum based on reflecting the role that you played in how you communicated with your family. Woo! That cut a little deeper than I expected it to. I'm sorry. For some of you, your communication is your weakness. It's keeping you from harnessing your willpower as effectively as you're supposed to. And you're trying to be like, you know, 10 toes down with all these other people who are 10 toes down. And I just feel like maybe some of you are holding back, or you're not being as authentic because of the people that are around you, or the people that claim that they're loyal to you or that you're loyal to. I just feel like be careful of not being heart-centered or communicating like from a truthful, controlled place. There's stuff going on with emotional regulation. Some of you are like, what needs to be released is like a lack of emotional regulation. Like, you get hot, you fly off the handle. You get sad, you go to instant like really like self-loathing and deprecating like statements about yourself. There is just something that needs to be healed in regards to are you giving off arrogance, or are you coming in too weak? You know who you are. Okay. And next I want to ask, what will bring, Ten of Swords, that just needs to end. There is an ending of a cycle in the realm of the mind that's bringing in this brand new dawn. There is this new, all this yellow that's coming up. There is new horizons are being broadened when you acknowledge what your weakness is. When you are vulnerable and bare your heart to people, quit trying to act like you got it all together. Quit trying to act like, you know, you've got it figured out. Like, only showing people the highlight reels of your life. Like, we all do that. We're being bred to do that, and it just feels really important to understand that when you show your pain, when you show your hurt, when you do your part to communicate about your betrayals and why you can't talk, or why you're holding yourself back, or why you're struggling with trust, or whatever it is, when you talk about it, it helps extract these swords out of your back. It helps turn the betrayals into breakthroughs. So what is happening? And there is a release. There is a letting go. We have to let go, but you can't. And we have to acknowledge what we're holding on to, because it's keeping us from receiving what we actually want. So what will bring healthy stimulation? Letting go. Changing your relationship to food. The kind of food that you're eating. Please show us what will bring healthy stimulation for this going forward after this full moon. Sagittarius. Healthy stimulation, I feel like there's something about making room. Some of us are overstimulated. I feel like most of us are overstimulated. We're needing to put down some of the things that we're doing, or we're needing to make time for nothing. Make time to do nothing. And for some of you, if you have a lot of time where you do nothing, it's time to figure out what it's time to pick back up. What activities, what studies, what research, what behaviors, what business ideas, what friendships, what practices, what skills, what crafts, what gifts need to be harnessed, need to be manipulated, touched again, practiced. Most of us are overstimulated, and so healthy stimulation will come by way of not doing anything. And for those of you who know you do too much nothing, you're needing to evaluate what can I get habitual about that will lead me to where I want to go. What can I create a routine on, or what can I add into my routine or my repertoire, or that will have in game long-term goal, long-term gains. Say I want to learn how to do a split. If I start stretching and do the split every day, eventually I'm going, and getting in that form and doing those stretches, eventually I'm going to be able to do a split. So what things do you want to eventually be able to do? And what do you need to, what habits do you need to pick up now? Because some of us have habits and things that we do that we're mismanaging our energy on, and we need to evaluate. We need to drop what we're putting down so we can look at what needs to be picked up, so that it is a reflection of our actual desired trajectory. And so I also want to ask, what harvest will we reap if we work on communication and relating to others? So Saturn tells us, if you do the hard work, there will be a reward. And so not doing things just for the reward, but it's just hey, a little, pick me up along the way to let you know, if you put in the work on being more masterful with your, if you put in the work to being more masterful with your communication and how you relate to others, it's going to bring you more money. It's going to make you feel better. It's going to usher in new chapters in your life. It's going to put you in this position. Ooh-wee! It's going to free up space for new ideas. It's going to bring in new people in your life. It's going to put you in this position where there's you get to act on the ideas. You get the funding, you get the grants. I feel definitely if there's something about doing the LLC, or putting it legitimizing your business in some sort of way, doing the things the adult things that you need to do. Because some of you are still viewing your idea or your business as in the initial stages, and the divine's like, hey, I'm trying to get you into like the next level or into intermediate, going from beginner to like, or novice to there's just like a level up, but we got to put down our current understanding so we can pick up the pinnacle. Especially if you are an artist or in healing modalities of any sorts, tarot, Reiki, massage, singing, dancing, writing, painting, any kind of like artistry. Those of you who are in like the industry of art or in the industry of spirit or healing in some sort of way, or really providing a service that really helps make people feel better in some sort of way. I just feel like the harvest you reap is bigger than you realize. For some of you, you're getting children, you're having children, you're gonna get pregnant, or you're gonna get the family that you're wanting, you're gonna get the relationships that you're wanting, you're gonna and it's funny, like you're gonna get the help that you want. Some of you get the interns that you want or the team that you need. These people are younger than you, maybe somebody with Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio placements. But I feel like you get the funding, you get the grant, you get the loan or the scholarship or something like that. Or this could be your children or people around you. I feel like don't discredit the youth. Some of you are in frustrating situations, and you could move from frustration into fruition if you cut out being hard-headed and defensive when it comes to technology, when it comes to how you communicate, when it comes to like turning your back on stuff, because there's all this conflict in the way of you getting another ace that wants to come in hot and help you level up. But a lot of us are being stubborn, I feel like, when it comes to mastery, when it comes to studying or being diligent or going to school or like learning something. I just feel like you may be being stubborn, and or you may not be believing in yourself that you have what it takes, that you can go back to school. Take your time. Slow and steady wins the race. Yeah, some of you, there's this self-doubt or remorse or regret or things that people said about you that make that you don't think that you're smart, or you don't think that you can do it. And I'm telling you, that it's crazy that this is coming up for this full moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is college. It's higher learning. It's education. It's philosophy. And I just feel like there is this development there. So it doesn't have to be university. You may be going to get like a certificate or just learning stuff. YouTube University, reading books, articles, whatever. It just feels like, hey, don't block your own development. And speaking of blocking, my next question was, what's blocking optimism? More optimism from flowing in our life. For some of us, optimism in general, but what's blocking the optimism, or what's blocking more optimism from flowing in our lives? The Knight of Pentacles reversed. Some of us we're being super pessimistic because it's not happening on our timeline. It's not happening as fast as we want it. I'm telling you, slow and steady wins the race. The message came out before the card did. There is something about like you're blocking your own optimism because you're stuck in the fact that you still have all this sadness. And the sadness, I've been telling us for months now, the sadness is a jetpack. It's fuel. There's power. There's information. There's understanding there. You just got to dig into it, lean into it, ask yourself the questions. I've done it very recently, and I've been very, very hard with myself about how long it's taken to pull myself out of something heavy. And it's like, bruh, quit putting some timeline on your healing. The divine's timeline is going to supersede yours anyway, so you might as well relinquish this thing you have about controlling time and the pace. and how soon something's supposed to happen for you, or when it's supposed to happen for you. What's blocking optimism is this like 3D expectation of like how it's supposed to be or what it's supposed to look like. All you can do is what is your part. Like, what do you intend to do? What is your part? All you can do is your part. You can't rush or dictate the divine's portion. And so the next big one is, what philosophy or beliefs need to be released? The Hierophant is already out. The Knight of Pentacles reversed facing him. So I already feel like there is something about going back to like what you grew up believing. Let's say you grew up being an atheist, or you grew up in an agnostic household. I just feel like your beliefs have changed in some sort of way, or what you are curious about has changed in some sort of way, and that needs to be evaluated. That needs to be researched. So there may just be dogma or religious trauma, you know, from the past that needs to be compassionately looked at, and for some of you, for some of us, you know, evaluated with a professional. Don't be afraid of, you know, to ask someone to hold your hand through you unpacking what all this shit is. You're not supposed to have the tools. For our greatest and highest good, what philosophies and beliefs need to be released? Now keep in mind, this is a general reading, so eat the meat, leave the bones. The philosophy or the belief that needs to be released is that you can't. Some of you, the philosophies, the beliefs is that you're restricted, that people like you can't do this, or there's some kind of glass ceiling, or I don't need to want too much, or I don't need to be too much, or I need to keep myself small, or I don't want anybody to see me. They're gonna see what the fuck are you talking about? For a lot of you, there are these self-limiting beliefs that have created self-fulfilling prophecies. And you have some belief that you can't do something, or you aren't something, that you can't be celebrated, or that you can't be free, or you can't be, that you can't have the life that you want, that you can't have the freedom that you want, that you can't have the friends or the kinds of relationships that you want. For some of you, this is about polyamory. Being in open relationships. I feel like some of you, you're telling you can't do this, or you can't have this, or no one's going to want what I want, or no one's going to, you know, it's like, please, baby, there is someone for everybody. There's some ones for everyone. There is so much cake out here. Why do you keep thinking that you can't have a slice or two, whilst being hella authentic? It's just a thing. As long as you're operating ethically, you will really be able to, you will start attracting in people who operate ethically, and you'll be able to quickly identify unethical behavior. So when you identify the unethical behavior, and when the red flag reveals itself, don't be a groupie, keep it fucking moving. We're not out here spending all our like good skin years healing. No, absolutely not. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much fun to be had. I am like quick with the, and it's yet to fail me. Like, first, second red flag, I'm out, bro. Like, I don't have time for that. Anyway, switching gears really hardcore. The next question that came up was, How to heal the relationship to working out. Sagittarius is very physically active. I think they require a physical activity. Though they may not give themselves a physical activity, I feel like Sagittarius requires a physical activity for their mental sanity. And Gemini needs some sort of mental workout, mental stimulation for their sanity. So I do feel like how to heal the connection to working out. Some of you work out way too much and it's a tactic, it's an escapism kind of thing. Some of you completely avoid it. Some of you go in waves and spurts. And so let's see, even though this is a general reading, how can we heal our relationship to working out? Knight of Cups with the 5 of Cups. I feel like we've got to start changing our perspective of it and looking at it as an outlet for pain, an outlet for sadness, and also a way to experience creativity. Some of us, like we heal our relationship to it by way of understanding that this is a quest of love into ourselves, a quest to turn this into this, to transmute our pain, our remorse into a vehicle that propels us forward. So some of us need to understand, or also some of you just need to go to a different gym. Quit trying to go to the designer gym, you know, Vasa or the, you know, whatever. Some of you, you don't need a fucking personal trainer. Get on fucking YouTube. Be consistent at home. Do some at-home workouts, or go to, like, you know, fucking Planet Fitness or whatever it is. Some of you, like, quit trying to keep up with the Joneses. Or you're healing your relationship to working out by way of not going to the gym to be seen. Go to the gym because you have an objective. And also, some of you, you don't like to go to the gym, or you don't like to work out or be like physically active in front of people because it's something about you being observed. And I just feel like it's time to have a loving introspection, and we're having a loving introspective conversation with your insecurity, with your heart, with your inner child about why you don't like being seen, what's the root of that, how to turn that into confidence, what you need to do to start, like, not letting that hold you back. And then almost lastly, what areas of life need exploration? It's funny that we jam-packed all these questions. I don't think I've ever done this many questions. But it's very Gemini, very Sagittarian. What areas of our life need exploration? For our greatest and highest good, please show us what areas of our life need exploration. I knew it was a cup. 6 of Cups. Some of us, you need to explore your relationship to this Scorpio, or this Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio. Some of you, you need to explore truly your relationship or your definition of a soulmate. Your relationship, you need to explore your relationship, or you need to explore reciprocity, exploring what's coming back from the past. This does not mean going back to an old lover, but it does mean why, like exploring why internally. I'm not telling you to go back to anybody. I don't feel like that this is, you need to, that there's something back there in the past for you, but I do feel like there are some truths back there. And so this does not mean you need to go back to that shitty ex, or go back to somebody that disrespected you, or anything like that, or going back to the person you have kids with. I'm not saying going back. I'm just saying there is something here about exploration. Exploring. And just because something was over doesn't mean this motherfucker wasn't your soulmate. But why do we think everything has to be forever? It's like, yes, we want that, but like I feel like there's something about letting go of that concept that like everything is gonna be this way always, you know? Also, some of you, what you need to explore your relationship to home ownership. Explore your relationship to being a parent, to giving. Do you give what, do you feel like you get what you give? Are you giving too much, or are you like being a taker? And we're all needing to get to a place where we can be like brutally honest with ourselves. Because if we keep up this facade, if we keep up the illusion, it'll, fuck us up. All right, last card. What is blocking our freedom? Ooh, when I did that. Some of us it's heartbreak. Some of us it's resentment. What's blocking our freedom? Some of us it's a relationship. Some of us a lover. Some of us it's Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or Virgo. Someone you've been in a relationship for a long time. For some of us it's the idea, the facade, the image that we gave off, or something of that nature. What's blocking our freedom? Some of you are like bullying yourself. I feel like some of you are ignoring your relationship to your children. Some of you, you're ignoring your relationship to your inner child. You're ignoring your relationship to the fact that you're drained, or you're tired, or you're angry. You're maybe tired of doing it on your own. Some of you, maybe you've been equating freedom to individuality, or you being alone in some sort of way. And I just feel like that is stemmed from some childhood stuff, some stuff in the subconscious that you have not been seeing clearly. What's blocking freedom is your willingness to see. There's all this emotion, all this spirituality, all of this trauma bonding, all of this pain, the disappointment. There's been some misunderstandings about what marriage, what partnership, what love, what relationships, what commitment actually is. And I just feel like we've been restricting ourselves. And so what's been blocking our freedom are the shackles that have been on our mind. And so now that there is this radical shift of information, we're like really entering into the age of information. Pluto, once we're after November 2024, is the real start of the age of Aquarius, and the age of information, and the age of technology. And there is just a progression, and it starts within the mind. And we will be experiencing triumph over our obstacles, but it is going to be required for us to acknowledge our comfort zone and acknowledge that we ain't here to be comfortable, baby. And so we got to turn our back on some stuff so that we can get in this upward like mobility. So it's time to get in the process of being honest, so we can initiate this new mission that's coming in, and how we're going to pursue it, and what no longer is serving us, and what our dreams truly are, so that we can make sure that we're not giving up on them. I love you. You got this.